right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a great day so far. A little bit of a change of schedule over here for the channel. I want to start uploading earlier in the morning so that we can leave some time for my normal videos on my main channel to come out later in the day, and maybe even for the future of the ALGS channel, maybe having 2 videos a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. Obviously, I feel like Apex really needs a little bit more content so that there's even enough things to talk about to do 2 videos in an entire day, but definitely something I am considering, and I hope you guys don't mind the early upload. Maybe that way you can have something to watch during your day at work. At the time of recording this right now, or the time of you watching this video, I'm currently at a funeral. So this video was pre-recorded the night before, so literally last night is when this was recorded. I won't be on socials for the next 2 days or so. I'll be out with family at a funeral, like I said before. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date, all things Apex Legends esports related. And without further ado, we got a lot to talk about today. ImperialHal on Respawn's case about something, Apex delaying their Pro League matches as well, and a lot of other things in the news today. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. So firstly, I couldn't remember if I had actually made mention of this. I know that I think I did, but I couldn't remember. If you guys were not aware, though, pretty sure I did. Hundreds is retiring from Apex. I'm pretty sure I already talked about this. So I didn't make a video yesterday, so I'm kind of lost as to where I was. A lot has happened in my personal life, so I'm just kind of all over the place. But now that I'm sitting here, pretty sure I already made mention of that. Hundreds is retiring from the game. Yes, I did. And I basically said that he is going to continue to be a coach, but he is not going to be playing personally. And I think overall he's trying to move away from the Apex scene in general, it seems like. So also in the news, wanted to make mention of this. So Nano is a player over for CLG, and we knew that he was with CLG. We knew that obviously a lot of people have credited this team as like one of the best team fighting teams, and so they know that this guy obviously is going to land somewhere. However, with the recent news of CLG disbanding, and I think that NRG just bought out their LCS spot not long ago, so CLG seems to be completely done, unfortunately. And so a lot of these players are now starting to come out. Hey, I'm obviously moving on. You know, I'm ready to go to other places as well. So he said, I'm no longer with CLG. It was definitely a blessing competing under CLG, and grateful for all the love and support from the staff and fans. With that being said, though, nothing's changed. Working hard to make LAN and perform. Looking forward to continuing my pro career and whatever the future may hold. We obviously know these guys are pretty insane. They will most likely find themselves on a spot somewhere. But what this really kind of has concerned for me is that with the state of esports entirely, what other orgs out there right now are waiting for something to go wrong or waiting for that like push over the edge? Because we now know that while Cloud9 was making their departure, you know, from Apex and complaining about a lot of the things with the game, there were other orgs out there struggling, not communicating with what they were feeling or not communicating with the struggles that they were having. And then obviously a couple months later, they come out and say, oh, shoot, you know, we're not doing good either. We're out. We saw that with SSG. We saw that with G2, or no, not G2. We saw that with Cloud9, SSG, and then I think the Guard has done it as well, obviously. So the Guard is completely... So all these other orgs seem to be having problems. Nobody's really mentioning of it. Nobody's really talking about it until they just... Instead of talking about it publicly, they just decide out of nowhere, we'll just... Boom, we just disband. We're bankrupt or whatever. We're done. It's all over. And that's what seems to be happening, unfortunately. I hate to see it, but nonetheless, I think at the end of the day, there will be a bounce back. Just going to be a little bit of a rough patch for now, for sure. Esports Arena also made a huge announcement. Obviously, these guys are very well known for making some big impacts on the Apex scene with their great rosters for, like, you know, semi-pro-ish, you know, I guess like some T2 players coming to here that are going to be tier 1 players. And they really cultivate them well. I got to say, the last 2 or 3, whatever, ESA rosters have been pretty phenomenal and eventually bought out or picked up by a T1 organization. We saw it with FaZe. We saw it with Optic Gaming as well. ESA is actually making some big announcements here, saying after a few years of negotiating and planning, ESA has officially inked its partnership with Walmart. Yeah, like it's a pretty big one to talk about. And we will be renovating all of our locations to be booth video gaming equipment and esports competitions. Finally, a one-stop shop for all gamers. Oh man, this is a great announcement, and I'm really excited to see this. They go on to talk about like Walmart allows us to sell gaming and esports streaming equipment and all of this stuff at the literal best price. So I'm excited for this partnership. I feel like this is something that, you know, more esports industries need to get into. I would really love to see more partnerships like this. Shout out to Walmart for obviously being Walmart's one of the biggest, like, you know, W's you could probably get in this. So it's really good to see. Also wanted to make mention of this, not a W here. We see in TSM ImperialHal, obviously we know the pro players like to talk a lot about the problems with the game. But honestly, they all make a very fair point here, and especially after like the dumbness is not a word. How would you like the stupidity behind this change that was made in ImperialHal, having to take it to stream? Obviously, he's been away for quite some time. He's been back. I think actually he just had a funeral as well that he had to go to. So he's actually been back. He's been playing Realm, and obviously everybody's excited to see him back as well. Well, he went on a little bit of like a rant to say like, what are the devs doing? What are they thinking? Especially with this problem that's been in the game. And we're going to talk about more problems here in just a second as well that Apex has actually addressed. But obviously ImperialHal not too happy with this change that was more recently made. Take a look at this clip.
All right, can we talk about why they changed the keybinds on this? Like, but do you guys remember when I made that like joke where sometimes Apex devs just like they like wake up and realize it's like patch day and they're like, okay, I'm gonna make this change just so I could like say I did my job. So I'm gonna change the keybinds of the attachments and be like, yeah, that's it for today. Privacy, thank you for the 5 gifted. Like, what, like, who asked to change the keybinds? I don't understand.
I think it's a super fair point to make, because it's one thing if you make a patch and there's a bug, right? But it's another thing that when something has been changed that should have never ever been changed, no one should have ever touched. I don't even know how this change happened. So this obviously seems like his point that he's trying to make seems to be somewhat legitimate, because how else would you even manipulate or change this, or even have a bug where the keybind just for whatever reason gets swapped? Like, how does that even happen? No one asked for this. No one requested this. No one should have even been changing or tampering with any of the settings regarding these attachments. I don't know how this even happened. However, there was another bug that's been in the game for quite some time, and that has been with instabilities, especially specifically over at the POI for World's Edge called the trials. You guys probably are aware of this. I've seen a couple people as well, complain about this, how they're going to have to play these next Pro League matches under these issues. Well, they actually did say that they were planning to reschedule, and this is what they put out. Apex Legends Esports put out a competition update saying, due to the instabilities in the recent 16.1 patch, this weekend's Pro League matches will be rescheduled to April the 23rd for EMEA and NA, and April 30th, 2023 for APAC North. As a result, match day number 8 in EMEA and NA is rescheduled to April the 29th, and APAC North and regional finals is rescheduled to May the 6th, 2023, obviously as well. All other previously scheduled matches will take place as planned. We thank you for your patience and understanding as we sort through these challenges. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week for more Pro League matches as well. Pretty big W from Apex. I think a lot of people needed to see this, because Apex had kind of basically, if you guys did not see my main channel video yesterday, we talked about it a little bit, because it kind of, went over into, our normal news, that it wasn't just ALGS specifically, but they had apparently told these pro players that they were going to have a fix for them by the times of their next matches. Well, whenever these next matches were coming around the corner, they suddenly said, oh, it didn't work out. Something went wrong. Oopsie. And they were just like apparently going to play these next games with this. And there was actually a leaker who said that the next Apex patch was supposed to be April the 10th. And if that was the case, that would mean they would have to play their Pro League games first on April, before April the 10th. So before this patch would go out, therefore they'd still be playing with these instabilities in place. And a lot of pros were obviously mad about that. Well, like as soon as I made that video, 3 minutes after it went public, they released this statement right here saying that they were going to be postponing this. So big W for Apex. Honestly, really glad to see this. I'm glad that like the competitive integrity could maybe sit around for a little bit longer, and maybe we'll see more things like this in the future, or maybe even just like, I guess, less unstable updates or patches that are released. Also wanted to make mention of this, a little bit of not T2 news. I mean, obviously these guys are in Pro League, but it's definitely something worth mentioning. These guys aren't as big of names, and I obviously want to see more I guess reflection upon these names, because all of these guys really deserve a lot of attention. T2 sides, and obviously even the lower levels of T1. I think all of the Apex scene, in all honesty, deserves a lot more attention, because I think this game has a lot to offer when it comes to the competitive scene. So Braden is actually going to be the new coach over for Native Gaming. Native Gaming, obviously, I've actually heard that they're going to be rebranding, or maybe someone's going to be buying them out. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I had heard that Native was going to be sold, or maybe picked up, or going to a new organization very soon. However, nonetheless, doesn't seem like that's going to be happening anytime soon, as Native has announced their brand new coach is going to be Braden as well. So a nice little pickup for the Native squad. Also, Privacy coming from Dark Zero. This is their professional analyst. This was actually coming from Realm. We've actually saw that Glitch Gaming, or Glitch Energies now, Vane, had said that he thought some of the teams that were playing in Realm was actually better than a lot of these Pro League teams, especially in North America as well. And a lot of these guys were playing it a little bit smarter. Well, this was coming from Privacy, saying back at it, the NA Realm overall top 30 players performance, ImperialHal is on top average kills, followed by Sweet Dreams and Zach. You love to see ImperialHal coming back from a big break and still dominating like he always does. Sweet Dreams is top average damage, followed by ImperialHal and Lux. Performance is displayed from red to purple. So if you look at this, and obviously he goes on to give, you know, some more, and he even says that there were some mistakes. But if you look at this, on the very bottom, we see average damage per game. We see average kills per game. At the very tippity top is ImperialHal. This guy's obviously frying. Sweet is also up there as well. What's crazy to me is you see two of the most popular play. I actually really like this for Apex. If I asked you who are the two most popular players in the Apex Legends scene, I don't think you could argue that Hal and Sweet are most definitely the two most popular. Not like I'm not asking you who's the best, but if you had to ask yourself who are the most popular, who gets the most views, who are the fans behind the most, it's these two guys right here. I personally feel like it's these two guys right here. I've always thought that. And what I really like is that it's not just for content's sake. It's not just for whatever. These guys are showing themselves that they are really that far. I mean, when you look at this, these are very obvious outliers, right? I mean, no one is really close to these guys, in all honesty. And you could see most of the T1 pros are right here towards the middle. You've got Rambo dropped. You've got Zach. You've got Vane. You've got Phony, all these guys. And then you've got like these two outliers over here from the big boy organizations. And you'll love to see that obviously they're holding up to their name appropriately. You really like to see that because I think it kind of gives a little bit more of incentive to, in order to grow your personal brand, just simply be the best. Like, just be the best you could possibly be. And that's the best thing you could do, because Apex has a weird audience. It's less about, back in the day in Call of Duty, you would see a lot more people get behind players like Nadeshot, who maybe weren't as good, but he had that fan audience and people wanted to root for the underdog. Doug Sensor Martin, you'd have, you know, back then Scump was obviously always good, but he was always on like a losing team until he got on the Dynasty team as well. So it was always that little factor. But for Apex, it's always literally about who's the best. Like, if you're just that good, you're going to get the views. If you win, you're going to get the views. If you're number one ranked, you're going to get the views. At least you used to. I don't know how it's really working these days. But regardless, I'm really happy to see that these two guys are obviously showing themselves to be that dominant in the scene. We'll see if TSM, though, can turn it around as Pro League approaches, because they are at a fight and a battle right now to make land. And I don't really know if it's even going to happen, but I'm definitely rooting for the champions from Split 1 to make it back to the land of Split 2. How weird would that be, that the champion from Split 1 doesn't make land to Split 2? It's just going to be so odd. Interested to see what you guys have to say about all the topics down in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. And also let me know what you guys think about the new upload schedules, trying to start these things earlier in the morning. And also, what do you think about more videos? And also, don't forget, I will not be here tomorrow because I'll be out for a funeral this weekend. See you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I'll see you later, Gators.